Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Shahista. In today's video, I'm going to cover the most commonly asked question about Canada work permit. So I have an immigration expert with me, Junaid, who will be answering our questions. So welcome Junaid. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to come and discuss about Canadian immigration rules and regulations with you.
Thank you so much. So without wasting our time, let's get started. So what are the different types of work permit and how to get them?
So when you're talking about Canada, Canada is a land of opportunities, especially for new immigrants and particularly from third world countries, because a lot of people from third world would like to come to Canada and make it their home. I personally believe that there are two types of work permits that people are, mostly looking for. And the most popular one is employer specific work permit, which a lot of time people say LMIA based work permit, and there is one more subcategory to that is LMIA exempt work permit, but it is in sponsorship. The other types of work permits are open work permit, which allows you to work for any employer irrespective of your duration in Canada. Whereas in closed work permit or employer specific work permits, you are allowed to work for that particular employer only. So in short, there are two types of work permits, open and closed.
Yeah. So open work permit gives you a freedom to choose the employer that you want to work with, while closed work permit is specific to one company.
Yes.
So is there any way to convert closed work permit to open work permit?
Unfortunately not, and yes as well. So it depends on situation. So for example, if somebody is in Canada on a closed work permit, a lot of people from subcontinent, they come to Canada to work for companies such as Wipro, Infosys, KPMG, and PwC, and all these kind of companies. So they come on closed work permit. So until the duration of their work permit or until they are working with that particular company, they are not allowed to switch their employer. But during that work permit, or maybe after the expiry of that work permit, they can switch their status to student, and eventually after that they can switch back to open work permit, because if you are in Canada as a student, then you are allowed to work in Canada. You're allowed to obtain an open work permit called postgraduate work permit. That is the first option. The second option is if you have submitted your PR application. So while you're waiting for that PR, so you may be eligible to apply for something called bridge open work permit or bridge work permit. So this bridge work permit in some circumstances will allow you to apply for open work permit, or this, let me rephrase. So this bridge work permit in some situations may give you an opportunity to work for other employers as well.
Okay.
The other category could be if you have applied for PNP, provincial nominee programs, because they are the most popular one, right?
Yeah.
So if you have applied for PNP, then you have the liberty to request that particular province to allow you to work for any other employer, or at least to you may request that province to allow you to get an open work permit. It is very much possible. We have seen these kind of situations and cases in our practice.
Okay. And what are the conditions to apply for open bridge work permit, you said?
So technically you can just apply for bridge work permit. So bridge work permit means that while you're waiting for your PR or a decision on your PR, and if your work permit, your existing work permit is expiring or expired or going to get expired, then to cover this period, you can apply for a work permit. That work permit is called bridge work permit.
Okay.
In some circumstances, or in a lot of circumstances, this bridge work permit may allow you to work for any employer. So this duration of few months will be equal to an open work permit duration.
And for that, like my expiring work permit could be anything, like it could be open work permit or closed work permit.
Yes,
right?
it can be anything. And not just that, because of COVID, Government of Canada has been introducing different kinds of work permit every now and then. So in yesteryear, they introduced a work permit in which they allowed everyone to obtain an open work permit.
Okay.
So these kind of situations may come. If you're on closed work permit, you're gonna have to stay on closed work permit until you receive your PR. So the most important thing is to work towards getting your PR.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're on closed work permit, stay on closed work permit. But in some circumstances, under humanitarian and compassionate grounds, you can request the government of Canada to get you an open work permit.
Okay, perfect. So let's say that I came here for education. I got my 1 year or 2 years work permit or 3 years work permit for that matter, open work permit. And now that work permit is going to expire. So what are the different ways I can extend my work permit here in Canada?
You mean the postgraduate work permit?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a very common problem that a lot of people are facing these days. So, a lot of people, they come on student visa, and after that they obtain one year or 3 years work permit. So how this thing works is that if you have studied in Canada for 1 year, you're eligible to get 1 year work permit. If you study in Canada for 2 years, then you are eligible to get the work permit of up to 3 years.
3 years.
So 2 years does not really mean that you have to do a 2 years program. You can do 1 year, 2 programs of 1 year each.
Yeah.
That can also work, right? So the most important thing here is that you have 3 years, if you have, so you have 3 years and you must do everything possible to obtain your PR within these 3 years. Otherwise, life is going to be very difficult. Because after this, you are left with just two options. So first of all, if you have applied or if you have obtained a postgraduate work permit, so you cannot get it again. It is just one-time thing.
Oh, once
Right?
in a lifetime?
Yeah, once in a lifetime thing. If you have drained out your work permit, the postgraduate work permit, then you are left with just two options. Option number one is provincial nominee programs. So pretty much all the provinces in Canada, they have something PNP, which allows, in many situations, it allows candidates to apply for PNP, which also eventually helps them get PR. So if you can obtain a PNP, provincial nominee program, then you may extend your work permit until you receive your PR. Because there are two different types of PNPs. One is called express entry PNP, and second one is called non-express entry PNP. So for express entry PNP, it is still fine because you can get PR in like 6 months or so. But if you get stuck in non-express entry PNP, then after the approval of PNP, it can take up to 2 years for you to get PR. So
till those 2 years, I can stay in Canada, or I have to go back to my country?
You have to maintain your status.
Okay.
So until you are waiting for the decision or an outcome on your PR application, it is your responsibility to maintain your status. Government of Canada is not responsible for this. So do whatever it takes, but make sure that you do not overstay in Canada.
Oh, so you mean maintain your status?
Maintain
means
your
if
status.
your work permit is going to expire, then you have to go back.
Find a way to extend your work permit.
Okay.
So in this situation, you can ask Government of Ontario, for example, if you have obtained the PNP of Ontario, so you have to ask Government of Ontario to give you a certificate or a letter to apply for a work permit extension. At this stage, you may ask them, or at least try and request them to give you an open work permit letter. Which can help you to extend your work permit as an open work permit anyway, because we are talking about student visa work permit or post-graduation work permit. So this is an open work permit. So in anyways, you're going to get the open work permit extended.
Yeah, and I think PNP is some topic which can be covered in another session as well. So there are so many topics that we can cover under PNP. So if you guys are interested, do let me know in the comment section below, and we'll definitely make a different video on that. Next question is like, in order to apply for work permit, one should know this, like what are the eligibility criteria for a person who is intending to get work permit, like age, education, any exam.
So as I said, there are two types of work permit: closed work permit and open work permit. So for closed work permit, age, IELTS, any of these things are not required. But exam, yes, there may be, there may be some sort of requirements for some sort of an education in order to obtain that work permit, but it depends on the company's requirement. It has nothing to do with Government of Canada, as long as company is happy. So for example, if you are not a dentist in Canada, no one will hire you as a dentist in Canada.
Okay.
So you will not get a work permit for that, right?
Okay.
But if you are a software engineer for example, in India, then any company in Canada can hire you.
Okay.
Because you do not need a specific Canadian software degree for that. Right? So as long as you are eligible to work in Canada, you can apply for the work permit, employer specific work permit.
Okay. So it's not compulsory. It's completely depends on company to company and profession to profession.
Profession, I would say. Yeah, there is one more category. Sorry, I think we missed that.